We are not surprised. We expected this. This is not surprising to us at all. The actions that have unfolded over the last 10 months, the leaks, the commentary, the demonizing, this did not surprise us that we reached this day. And I ask New Yorkers to wait to hear our defense before making any judgments. In about 30 minutes, you're going to hear a story of the case that is in front of us. This story will come from the federal prosecutors. And I ask to wait and hear our side to this narrative. From here, my attorneys will take care of the case so I can take care of the city. My day-to-day will not change. I will continue to do the job for 8.3 million New Yorkers that I was elected to do.
Amen. Amen.
And the 300,000 plus employees of our city government will continue to do their jobs. Because this is what we do as New Yorkers. It's an insult to the hardworking people of the city that anyone would say that they won't do their jobs while this case proceeds in the background. They are dedicated public servants, and I have been one of them for many years. And they're going to continue to do their job, moving the city forward every day. It's an unfortunate day, and it's a painful day.
Yes.
But inside of all of that, it's a day where we will finally reveal why for 10 months I have gone through this. And I look forward to defending myself and defending the people of this city as I've done throughout my entire professional career.
That's right.
I want to now turn it over to the person who started me on this journey, Reverend Herbert Daughtry.
Amen. 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 Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You are our mayor, and will be so time come.
Painful and unfortunate. That's what we're hearing from Mayor Eric Adams right now, as he now has been indicted in a federal probe. Our Aaron Katursky is there. We'll bring him up live as soon as he is able to break away from that press conference. I do want to bring in our legal contributor and trial attorney, Brian Buckmeyer, now for more. Okay, so Brian, I guess first your reaction to the charges, and then let's go through the 5 counts and talk about what this could mean for the mayor, even though he is standing by his innocence at this hour.
Yeah, so my first reaction here was shock. Shock as to the depth and the length in which these allegations span from. Starting back from when Mayor Adams was a then Brooklyn Borough associate, or not associate, sorry, but politician, Brooklyn Borough president, sorry, and then leading to his 2018 election, and then 2018 and 2021, this goes back a decade with all manners of correspondence, communications as to his involvement with the Turkish government, how there's almost like a pay-to-play in terms of building this Turkish consulate, and then even some of the correspondence. A few moments ago, I was talking about, hey, I'm seeing correspondence with Adams staffers and that of people in the Turkish airline and government, but now as I read deeper and I see more facts, I'm seeing the correspondence with Adams as well as the Turkish government, and the allegations seem to be very strong and very powerful.
So at this point, as he comes before the cameras and says he is innocent of all charges, but now as we are unraveling the various counts here and the details that you say are now being revealed, including months and months of evidence that we are now reading about and seeing in detail, how do you see this going down for the mayor? Does he continue to say he's innocent until what point?
I think for the mayor, he's going to continue to say that he's innocent unless and until he is found guilty. This seems to be a case that he's going to adamantly fight against. The interesting part for me is going to be when he is ultimately arraigned, what's going to happen. Is this a case where he's going to be granted some amount of bail and be able to go back into the office and keep working while, as he says, his attorneys will continue to fight the case? Or is this one who will be incarcerated? When I look at the count, the 5 counts that we have here, one of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and 2 counts of solicitation of a contribution by a foreign national, and of course bribery, as we can see there on the screen. These are not small charges. I mean, if we want to compare and contrast cases we've seen in the past, think of Bob Menendez and his involvement, who was recently convicted just some months ago. He's looking at 120 years in prison. And so without looking at all the details and just looking at the charges that we have here, these are not small allegations by any way, shape, or form. And the level of detail that I'm seeing in these allegations are definitely ones that a defense attorney would give some amount of pause and deep consideration for.
All right, Brian, stay with me. Let's head over now to our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky. He's now moved over to where we are waiting to hear from the SDNY. It will be holding a press conference shortly. Aaron, the Adams administration has already been reeling from a series of high-level resignations, as we know. We've been covering that for several days now. This is happening amid at least 4 other federal probes, 15 people connected to the Adams administration under investigation now. Just put into perspective, the severity of what we're witnessing.
Kira, the mayor's administration has been under investigation for a third of his tenure, nearly a year's time. And you're right, a number of his top inner circle members have come under suspicion, as well as their phones have been seized and their residences searched. But here, Mayor Adams stands alone as the sole defendant in this 5-count federal indictment that is sweeping in its alleged conduct dating back over a decade, from his time as Brooklyn Borough President now to the mayor of the city of New York. There have been 110 men who have served as mayor of New York. Until now, none had been charged with a crime while in office. You heard the mayor defiant, saying that these charges are political, entirely fictitious, and that he's innocent. But he says that he is going to stay in office and resist calls for his resignation that have been mounting.
Aaron, New York City, no stranger to scandals and corruption over the past decades. Looking at what Eric Adams is facing now and the counts that we are seeing up on our screen, put this into perspective for us from past corruption scandals to what the mayor is facing now.
There's nothing that compares, because the sitting mayor has never been charged like this. And the wire fraud conspiracy charges expose the mayor to significant prison time if he's convicted as charged. You've heard him say he's innocent and he's going to fight it. But we are looking potentially at decades in prison based on the way the mayor is charged and the way federal prosecutors have portrayed the mayor's conduct as a candidate, either for borough president, which is largely a ceremonial job in New York City, or as the sitting mayor. At every stage, they've said his fundraising is not on the up and up, that he was willing to take bribes and favors, solicit them, sometimes in exchange for official favors, sometimes not. There are pictures in the indictment about fancy hotel rooms where he didn't have to pay very much money, travel that was arranged by foreigners. All of this portrays the mayor as someone on the take. And that's what we're about to hear from federal prosecutors and the U.S. attorney.